soup, soup. Let's start the show.
Welcome, all 12 of you. Wow, there's exactly 12. Again, that's fun. That's fun. Welcome to the Neverdaily podcast, the podcast that is always on time for the follow-up test.
Yes.
We bring you the latest and greatest dredgings from the underbelly of the internet. Why do you choose us over another podcast that does this? Is it laziness? Is it that weird, unbreakable umbilical cord that children of abused households have for the love of their parents?
Yes. Or is it just that je ne sais quoi?
Yeah, is it that Jenny Sequa? We all know who she was in high school. We all had a Jenny Sequa. Did you have a Jenny Sequa in high school?
I don't
that
know.
one girl that everybody was like, what? You've never experienced physical doings? Go talk to Jenny Sequa.
Yeah. For some reason, when you said that, I just had a vision of this girl in my high school who, when she was in like grade school, they were having a paper fight in class, and she got a paper cut right to her eye,
Ow.
and it was milky.
What
Forever.
does that mean? It leaked?
Yeah, like her eye was like like in horror movies, like when their eyes are like whited over.
Whited over.
Yeah, that's what one of her eyes looked like. Because, yeah, she caught perfectly corner of like a piece of cardstock.
Oh.
Just sliced her eye right in half.
So over time her eye went like that, or
Yeah.
right away?
I think it was overtime.
Over time.
Yeah. She was a super nice person, though. Like, super nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she just happened to catch a piece of paper at the wrong time.
That sucks. Well, if Hollywood is true, if she has one of those clouded over eyes, she's typically destined to become like an oracle
Mm-hmm.
or a very wise person where everyone comes to him. You ever noticed how when in Hollywood movies, when someone comes to the oracle is like always sitting super still and is like just sitting there. They're never like busy.
Yeah.
They're never like, oh, hey, hold on, I'm doing a thing. Oh, except for, and I really appreciated the Wachowski brothers at the time. Ooh. For making that little change. Remember when Neo goes to see the Oracle, she's like just futzing around in her apartment complex, her apartment, just like, hey.
She was like cooking something on the stove.
Yeah.
And was making lunch. Like, she was just making lunch that day.
Yeah,
And
you want something? You want me to braid your hair? She was just busy. She was just at it.
Yep.
Unlike every other Oracle, where they are trying to defy the laws of nature by sitting super still.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood why eternal wisdom converts to catatonia.
Yeah.
It's never been
I figured everything out. I don't have to do anything anymore.
Yeah, I never really understood that.
Why are you meditating if you've already found everything? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I'm talking about. Yeah,
it's like going, oh, I found my keys, and then you just keep looking for your keys forever.
Yeah. Okay, I want to show you a chart.
Hopefully I can read it.
I came across this chart. First, let me preface this with a question. When did you graduate high school?
In the year of our Lord 2006.
2006. Okay. I graduated in 1994.
Ooh.
Okay.
Burn. Self-burn.
Well, here's the interesting thing is we both graduated in years when
People died.
Yep, that and the SAT was still just kind of just the SAT that we've all grown to hate, you know?
I didn't take the SAT or the ACT.
You didn't take them.
No,
Why?
because I just didn't. I had always planned just to test into classes in college,
Yeah.
and that's what I did. Like I tested into the higher math class and the higher English class when I went to college, and it was a lot less stressful, I think.
Also called CLEP, I believe. CLEP tests.
I think so. I don't know. I just
something
went
like
to the
that.
college and like, what English class are you going to be in? I was like, I don't want to be in the low one. And they're like, if you can pass this test, you can be in a higher one. And I'm like, cool. And I passed the test.
Isn't that interesting? How, so many things seem like they are mandatory when it comes to schooling, but you discover through either reluctance or maybe a bit of analysis how much of it isn't. Like SATs, ISAT scores, all that stuff, they're not for the kid.
Mm-mm.
They're for funding.
Yep.
And I think my personal opinion is when you create a measuring stick for the crowd, and the measuring stick is not intended for the betterment of the crowd but for an otherwise purpose,
Mm-hmm.
the measuring stick and its purpose can be corrupted.
That's why I was put in remedial math when I moved to Utah.
Isn't that also interesting? Because you tested into the math you wanted in college,
Yeah.
but
I
because
tested
of
into the special math class in high school because in Arizona, they had those, they would give you the tests were mandatory, like the state tests.
yeah,
And so, like, me being, a little, me trying to think I'm being rebellious, I drew pictures in the bubbles instead of actually doing the work. I just, drew pictures with the little multiple choice bubbles because it didn't matter in Arizona. But then in Utah, they actually used those tests to place you in classes. So when they transferred my transcripts, they're like, you can't even do basic addition or subtraction. So they put me in remedial math class. And the teacher hands me the first thing. She's like, I want to know what you guys know. It was the first day. I do the whole page in like 5 minutes, and it was supposed to take the whole class period. And I hand it in. She looks at it, she goes, these are all right. Why are you here? And I said, because I was an idiot and I messed around in the tests and I didn't take them seriously. And she's like, oh, she gave me the whole semester's work. I did it in 2 days. And then I just had a study class. She's like, yeah, you can just do your homework here. So I just had a free period where I just did my homework for the rest of the day.
yeah. Okay, well, that brings me to this graph. Let me show you this little nugget. All right, I came across this one. So if you're in the back door and you can see this, what you're looking at is the SAT scores by, I don't know why I guess they quantify them this way in school. So, and if you look at the difference, it breaks it down by race and ethnicity. It's not my graph. So, but I think it's an interesting thing because if you blended the scores, you'd be doing a major disservice or maybe occluding a problem potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be coming right in the middle of the road if you blended all the scores. So it's an interesting thing. Hopefully this doesn't trigger anybody. But this is SAT scores from 1987 through 2022. Do you know? Do you notice anything weird?
There's one group of people that are.
Like, just go along the line.
Well,
And
there's
does
a
the
couple
line do
groups
it?
that just shoot up.
All groups.
Yeah.
Every single group.
That is true, huh? At the very end, it's just like, pew, 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 pew.
Yep. Through 2016, everything stayed pretty level. From 1987 through 2016, there was almost no change amongst all of the racial groups, which is that's a good way of saying, look, these everybody tested on average as well as the year before.
Mhm.
You know, regardless of whether you broke it down by race or whatever, with the exception of Asian Pacific Islander, which does a interesting thing come 2016, 2017, where I think that's when they decided to just break it out. So moving forward, you were either moving forward from 2016, you were Asian or you were Pacific Islander.
Oh, okay. You weren't both.
Yeah, you weren't both. Yeah, you can see the Pacific. Here's an interesting. So I wonder. You can wonder out loud. I wonder why they did that. I wonder why they made the breakout from Asian to Pacific Islander. You know, to Asian Pacific Islander to Asian and Pacific Islander. But then if you look at the scores, if I were Asian, I'd be like, yeah, we've been carrying the water all this time because it's hard to see, but in 2016, if you look at it, the now it goes from yellow, which from 1987 to 2015 was Asian Pacific Islander. So it was everybody out, living on an island. In 2016, they were like, well, let's break that out. So we have Asian, and then we also have Pacific Islander. The Asian stayed put. The Pacific Islander grades scores went all the way to, so Asians stuck around the 1150 mark.
Yeah.
But when you break it out and separate Pacific Islanders, it drops down to 850.
Ooh.
So again, like, data's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Also blending data or grading on the curve. I mean, if I were Asians and my getting into a college, I was riding on scores and because they're averaging these things out, especially when we had colleges going, well, we want a blend of ethnicities, right? I'd be making an argument if they were blending Asian Pacific Islander scores, and because if you blended 1100s with 850s, you're coming in somewhere in the nines, which is, not great. So I can see why they made that argument. But what I wanted to show really in particular was 2016 was the last bastion of some kind of normalcy in the SAT. And then in 2017, everyone skyrockets by 200 plus points. 200 plus points. And then again, and then it levels off. It levels off after that. In most cases, it levels off a year later. So everything jumped 200 points for every single ethnicity. And then it just keeps on trucking at a plateau, right? But at the new 200 plus score level. Here's what changed. In 2017, they decided to stop punishing people for guessing, for wrong answers. So your score could take a hit if you got a wrong answer. Okay, from 1987 through 2016, and you'll notice something that people caught on to this, because between 2017 and 2018, when this rule changed, people were like, "Oh, now I can guess, and I'll get a better score than if it was last year and I got the answer wrong." So suddenly all of the scores jumped 200.
Everyone got smarter.
But that's what it looks like. And that's what's maddening about this is, like, I'll bet you money if you went back to 2016, 2017, and you looked at funding, there was probably a massive influx in funding because the scores were great coming out of high school, like, wow, everyone's doing great. And this is universal. This is, I
Mhm.
would say, actually, it looks like white people might have caught on the least. They were guessing I don't know, maybe guessing the least or getting wrong answers because their jump is not as significant. Asians went like 200, what is it, 100? And they jumped the
That's
most.
because they read the rules.
Very interesting. The only one that ran counter here, no, not run, didn't run counter, but the one with the least jump was Native American, where it's almost a straight line across. I mean,
Mhm.
relatively speaking, there's a little bit of a peak between 2016 and 2017, but it's so interesting
Well,
that
if I could put in my 2 cents, having grown up in Arizona, right in between two of the biggest reservations in the country, um, there's just not as much of an emphasis put on school in that culture.
really,
Yeah.
mm,
Not to say that it doesn't exist. I had friends that were very much their parents like, no, you're doing this, you're getting good grades, you're going to college,
yeah,
like you're getting a scholarship, Um, but for a majority of my friends that were Native American, like school just wasn't that big of an emphasis for them.
yeah.
Like it wasn't, a big cornerstone of their life and their, culture and all that kind of stuff.
It's interesting because if you, it's a sad history
Hmm.
of the Native American populations and things like school and really tragic things like banking and personal finance
Hmm.
and even like land rights. Not just like we stole the land rights, but um, if you go back and you look at things like when oil was discovered on lands, uh, there wasn't any rule in place yet that said you couldn't just become a millionaire if you had land and oil was discovered on the land.
Hmm.
And so it would happen on Native American lands, an individual's land owned by them, and then oil magnates would come in and say, "Hey, we'll punch the land. You'll make millions, and everything's great." But then the government, like a big old selfish idiot, goes, "Oh wait, but we now think that you're just not good at managing your own money. So, that's fine. You can make your millions, but all the money has to go into a distributable trust, and you have to have a white financial minder
Hmm.
where you have to ask to spend your own money." And you can imagine the corruption that
Yeah.
happened. Like, also on the flip side, to your point about the reservations, um, preservation of culture ran its anathema to um, what's happened historically with why all the Indian kids were hucked into school systems
Hmm.
was to gentrify
Yes.
and to kind of Native American them,
Hmm.
right? And it with this presumption, this very imposing presumption that was better. And so I can understand that now, that there's like this conflict,
Hmm.
this like, well, if you leave you're the young blood, you're the next generation, and if they keep leaving the reservation, the culture thins, especially if they don't know or embrace the culture. That
Hmm.
I can't imagine it's that feeling like kind of crabs in a bucket where it's like stay and embrace the culture. But probably a lot of these youth are like, well, but TikTok and I want to be a programmer at Microsoft,
Yeah.
it would be very hard to do both.
Yeah.
Especially since the culture in a lot of ways of preserving the culture is more museum level than like, you know,
Hmm.
glass superstructure, downtown. It's a very different vibe.
Yeah. Well, and like especially on the Navajo reservation, if you've ever been out there, everything is so spread out, and it's by design. Like that's how they've always lived. Like you live in your familial unit,
Hmm.
and then you work your land, you live off the land. Everything's spread out. Like cities are not very much a thing there. Like they exist, but like that's more of like a white person thing is cities, right? Where they want their space. They like living out, you know, in the middle of nowhere with no one around, and so like, but being successful today is the opposite of that, right? Like you
Yeah.
go to the city to be successful. You go to the cities to make money, and so it's like you can't become a millionaire just working a piece of land, in the desert. Like that's unless there's like minerals or oil there, like you're never going to become rich doing that. You're never going to become anything more than, lower middle class at best.
Yeah.
And so
It's
like it's a choice you have to make. Like, do I want to be comfortable or do I want to continue my way of life? But that's hard work and it's hard living. It's kind of like, it's kind of like ranchers and farmers. It's the same idea. Like
mm-hmm.
it's hard
Well,
work, it's hard living, and like some people they would rather, they'd rather sit at the computer and do that kind of stuff.
on its own merit, it not an apples to apples, but ranchers and farmers are in similar situations where we've gotten to the point where we import so much of what they produce that we've done this. I think it's a very I don't have a good answer for it. I just can see the problem in that if you have ranchers and farmers that are producing for the within the US and
Mhm.
their products could be consumed within the US, but we're importing so much that their products aren't needed in the US, you create a couple problems. One, you're like, now they're going to export it and probably export it at a cheaper price than they're going to make less than if it were consumed in the country, which is crazy. You think about
Mhm.
all the fuel it takes to ship beef somewhere
Yeah.
or grain or whatever. But also the government basically saying, "Hey, we're importing a bunch. So yeah, we realize that hurts you. You could be selling it here in the States. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you I'm sorry money,
Yeah.
you know."
I'm sorry.
And so it's very similar, and then that has its own repercussions when you start offsetting someone's production with money just
Mhm.
because you're operating in a different way.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you look at if I were a farmer and I started getting a massive subsidy and I'm producing something, um, I would have some feelings about it when the subsidy was about to go away, but
Mhm.
the problem wasn't fixed.
Yeah.
Like the subsidy is just disappearing, but I still can't sell into the States. Anyway, we've got off on a rabbit hole there. But anyway, I thought that chart was interesting. Not so much about Luther. Luther asked a good question in the background, and I wanted to address it because I think he's got a good point. He says, was it because they were guessing, you know, guessing like on the tests back to the SATs, or is it because if you don't answer a question, it doesn't affect you negatively? Maybe they just didn't answer questions they didn't know, and that's actually a strategy they teach you when you're going through SAT prep is skip stuff. If it's
Mhm.
taking too long, skip it, and you can always come back and fill in the blanks. So yes, Luther's right there. That's a factor as well. So it goes into the category of wrong answer, no answer, but the way that they changed the scoring, got rid of any penalty.
Yeah.
So all the scores jumped, and I just thought that was a funny manipulation of data where, just imagine being like a high school kid in 2017 and, your older brother who's in Harvard now graduated maybe 2015 and, he got a 990 and you're cranking out a 1200 and
Yeah.
suddenly you're the wonderkind in the family and they're having barbecues for you and everything. But in reality, data.
There was there was a family in Arizona where I used to live, and every single one of their kids had gotten 36 on the ACT, which is perfect, except for one, little Doug,
Little
because he
Doug.
wanted to play football. But his parents said, well, if you play football, you also have to be in band like all your siblings. So he was the kid who was literally in his football pads. He was a offensive lineman. He's out there in his football pads with the marching band at halftime playing.
Oh, I've
Like,
seen that
yeah.
before. Yeah.
So he was one of those kids, and his parents were so disappointed in him, and they said football ruined his ACT score. He got a 35.
Oh,
He got a 35 instead
really?
of a 36. And he
Ah.
didn't hear the end of it. And they're like, football ruined it. It was all football's fault. And he's like, actually, no. Then I was able to put that on my transcript, and it probably helped me more.
Well,
And
that was, to me, that was the thing that frustrated me in high school was I kind of assessed that I had a set number of talents. I put my head down and I tried to use those talents even before I graduated. Like I've talked before, I was an illustrator
Mhm.
for real estate magazines before I graduated. Back in the day, you either took a picture of your ugly building and put it in your listing, or you didn't have a picture at all if it was an ugly building but you wanted to sell it, or you had someone render an illustration of the building. And so
Mhm.
I was a real commercial real estate illustrator before I graduated. So I had a handful of talents and I wanted to use those talents actively. I knew that I wanted to go to I wanted to go to Juilliard or, music school. So I didn't take a language because they didn't need them. They didn't require it at
Mhm.
Juilliard. I just was very kind of, I guess, unidirectional in
Yeah.
my approach. Um, but I had friends who they weren't most of the kids that I knew that were getting the little gold cord on their shoulder, those kids, they weren't directing their education. Their parents were.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, "Hey, Stan, you want to go hang out on Friday?" And he'd be like, "No, I've got to go do a community service." I'm like, "Why are you doing community service? Was it court ordered?" And he's like, "Sorta. My parents are making me do it." But it was because beyond the testing, those parents knew what the school was looking for. So like your football friend who's also in band, who, takes an ACT test and gets a 35 instead of a 36, the school's like, "No, we're looking for a blend. We're looking for a human that can look you in the eye and carry a conversation, not just a robot calculator,
Mhm.
uh and the parents knew this, and there were certain parents, these kind of tiger moms of sorts where they ruled that kid's life all through
Yeah.
high school.
Mhm.
And yes, they got into colleges and everything, but I kind of feel like Stan would have done something different had his whole education and
Yeah.
everything was directed.
And who
Everything
knows?
was like, this is the way you're going to get a great career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you get people that have burnout and midlife crisis because they're doing something that they never wanted to do in the first place, that they just did the job because it was a good job, right?
Yeah.
And they hate every day of their life. But because it was a good job, they do it. And because they make decent money, they keep showing up, but they just hate every second of it.
Well, and then there's the social. I mean, it all. I would say it probably all levels out when you end up becoming a surgeon. At some point, it's like I can't remember. Oh yeah, I was on Luther's podcast and he asked me if I ever questioned my religion, and it's sort of like that. It's like at some point you're going to put a bullet in your head if you're not looking at your own life and saying, am I on the course that I want to be on, or am I on a course that is just pleasing to others? Am I looking to please?
Hmm.
Have I gotten into a rut where pleasing my father means more to me? You got to. There'll be a navel gazing point. I think I'm on the other end of that where I am so I can't. My brother told me, well, maybe you have ODD, oppositional defiance disorder.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I think I got it in spades because everything in my life could go away and I wouldn't pick up a self-help book. I won't start subscribing to Gary V. There's something, but I should. At 50, I'm looking at it going, maybe somebody's smarter than me. maybe, this next round should be the last one where I reinvent myself,
Yeah.
Before I was podcasting, I was, consulting for big brands and I had a merch company. I'm like night and day, it's just like, but I'm tired at 50. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that with this. Yes, you could become a surgeon off of the fuel of your parents' demand or their expectation. But to your point, you're either going to start popping pills in the prescription closet
Mm-hmm.
to offset the doldrums of the deadening of your own desires,
Yeah.
or you're going to have to start looking at that and going, am I doing what I want? Am I doing what God wants me to,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, like finding
I
your
know
own.
someone who has a really good job making really good money, but they hate their job like with a passion, right? They
Yeah.
hate it so much. So what do outside their life? They start taking
Beating their children.
they start taking like extreme risks in other parts of their life to
Oh.
chase happiness.
Okay, yeah.
To chase that dopamine and
Yeah, I
do
know
that kind of
people like
stuff,
that.
right? And so like they start doing like extremely risky behaviors outside of work because it's like they can feel something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like their pent up frustration with their job is coming out in other areas of their life.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it comes out in you might get really easily frustrated with your kids and you're not a very good parent and you yell too much and you're not very understanding. It could come out in risky behaviors, like maybe you have a gambling problem or an addiction problem, or you start just doing stuff that you normally probably wouldn't do if you didn't hate your life.
Yeah. Think about like when I was in school, I would see kids walking out of the annex, this giant building on Boise High School's campus, greasy from head to toe with their grease monkey coveralls still on, covering their school clothes because they just got out of auto shop,
Mhm.
and they're rebuilding the fender on some guy's car, It's real work.
Mhm.
There were these vocational education things that were happening in school and we'd see it on campus and you just kind of, it wasn't a thing. They squelched that to the point where now even my son and kids my son's age, 18, 19, 20, they're looking at some of these kids that there wasn't a track or a path necessarily because they killed vocational education in schools. But some of these kids are like, no, my dad says I'd be really I'm good with my hands, so I'd be a good diesel mechanic. And
Mhm.
so I found the course at College of Western Idaho
Yeah.
and just jumped in. And now, like, if Sam goes and hunts for a job outside of like, he was homeschooled. He didn't get a specialized education in some vocation.
Mhm.
So, he starts looking at the jobs where they're like offering $15 an hour and an upward trajectory toward being a manager. That's where they start. These diesel mechanic kids, though, they're going out and they're like, it pays 70,000. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your
That's
first
the
year.
yeah. It's like,
You're out of school making 35 an hour, and that's knowing nothing, never had any experience.
yeah.
You just been to the vocational school and turn wrenches on a couple of their engines that they break on purpose.
It's crazy, but the knowledge that they get and everything,
Mhm.
it's not going away. We're
Nope.
not getting rid of semis anytime soon, he says, and then watch Tesla semis take over the world. But
You still got to fix Tesla semis.
that's true. Yeah. So yeah, I'm like sitting with my nephew at a family gathering not too long ago, and he had just quit or got fired from his like second job doing some rudimentary task. And he's one of these doom scroller kids, where his whole perception on what success looks like is influencers. And that's really like that he's just been imbued with that.
Mhm.
And he was sitting there and I was talking to him and I was telling him, like, yeah, I might need an editor, do you
Mhm.
would you consider doing audio or video editing? And he's like, yeah, I just, I just want to be rich. And I was like, oh, you're not ready for this conversation. Like, they have no concept of the pathway to
Mm-mm.
get there if they were to do it at all,
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And I don't know that we're helping when we adjust. I don't know. Poor kids. I feel like the kid's the last to know whether or not they're actually smart or not coming out of college, because tests aren't. That's
No.
not a measuring stick of your intelligence. That's a measuring stick of your ability to rememberize something,
It's also
you
an
know?
ability that there's like you can learn like 10 different little random tricks and like boost your test scores instantly without ever picking up a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly, what I emphasized with Sam was he'd be like, how do you do this? I'm stuck on this. And I'm like, Google it. He's like, well, and you could tell it was like, well, that's not in the book. So why would I Google it? And I'm like, bro, find me an adult that that adds to their life skills, that isn't out there just trying to slog through using the internet to develop a pseudo master's degree in what they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you either are not qualified for a job and you climb your way up and you gain it iteratively, little by little, or you decide you want to do something and you find the education, however, come hell or high water.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not normal, I don't think, but that's how I did podcasting. I had a great video production background, and music production. And at the time when I was doing video production and music production, I was like, why am I doing this? This does not, well, I'm not going to be Creed. Why am I learning all this? But it all came around, and then understanding the nuances of the new gig. And
Hmm.
technology's changing so fast. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We covered it last time, AI. Anyway, I don't, this whole thing kind of was just a tangent off a chart. So, uh, um, how about I've got two funny things from This Is True I
From our
wanted to
friends.
share. What?
From our friends.
From our friends at This Is True. These were funny. I thought I'd share. Banned Books Week looked a little different at the Lihu Public Library this year, the largest library on the island of Kauai, Hawaii.
Lihui.
Lihui.
I
Yep,
love Lihui.
Lihui. Have you been to the public library there?
Nope, but I've been there. It's one of my favorite That's my favorite place on this planet is that island.
Okay. Did it burn down?
That was the other island, a different island.
Okay. Like all libraries in the state of Hawaii, they had to follow new guidelines for their displays. Quote, I was flabbergasted, said Lonnie Kawahara, Lihui's librarian. We've done displays like this before. Kawahara's supervisor took down about half of her display because the Hawaii State Public Library System had rebranded the event Freedom to Read and had banned the use of terms like banned, censorship, and banned books week. So, freedom to read, step one, shut some stuff down. As a result, the educational materials around the display were removed, and only the books and the freedom to read banner remained. State Librarian Stacy Aldrich said the changes were made so that the event could be inclusive of all library patrons. Quote, there are people who misunderstand banned books or believe that we are banning books, she said, Stickers with the American Library Association's 2025 Banned Books Week theme. Censorship is so 1984.
You don't even want to hear my opinion on banned books.
Oh my God. Like,
Half
how
of them
can
are
you,
a marketing gimmick.
that to me, that like, I don't understand. In the name of inclusivity,
We're gonna
we're
ban
cutting some
terms
stuff out.
and we're gonna prohibit things.
I just love that. I love that she said, okay, again, she was the state librarian, Stacey Aldrich, said censorship is so 1984 as they're removing books from the Freedom to Read display.
Oh.
That to me, that feels like what the Crusaders must have felt like. They're like, the way of Christ and the way of God is the way forward. Without it, you'll die. Believe it or we're killing you.
Yeah. Believe it. Not Ripley's Believe It or Not. More like Believe It or Else.
It's just so funny.
And that's how most politicians, whatever side of the aisle you're on, it's, we want to include everybody, except for the people who don't agree with us. Then they can die, and their opinions don't matter. If you don't agree, you don't matter. But we love everyone.
At a protest asking people, why they were at the protest. You get that. Pick a protest. You'll have people with microphones going, why are you
blue,
here?
Red, green, whatever.
Yeah. So one of the protesters said to him, she said, you should leave. Just get out of here. And she's like, why do I have to leave? But you're all about inclusivity. And she goes, well, that's the conundrum of inclusivity, isn't it? Is that we don't have to tolerate. No, that was the conundrum of tolerance, is we don't have to tolerate.
Yeah, I'll never understand.
Like rule number one, like if the way you feel about other people gives you permission to remove them from society. I also feel like every couple years I need to remind everybody, hate speech is protected.
Yeah.
In the First Amendment. You might not like that, but also hate speech is a construct.
Mm-hmm.
Hate speech today is a whole lot different than 1800, and is a whole lot different than 1400, and definitely different than when Jesus was on the earth.
Yeah.
Because we just, people pick what they don't like and they'll call it hate speech. And, sometimes there's really evil speech. I think we can all get behind that, regardless of our ilk. It doesn't take, it's a pretty baseline moral compass to identify evil. But the rest of it up and above evil is you're a headline head. You read something and now you equate such and such to hate. And I think the problem with that is the moment you feel qualified to ascribe hate to even an ideology or someone's opinion,
mm-hmm.
you are also qualifying yourself to hate. Because it seems noble. It seems noble to be able to hate something that you or someone else has told you is hateful.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to reference it to The Office. It's one of my favorite scenes ever.
Stop hating or we'll kill you.
It's where someone, took a dump on Michael Scott's carpet in his office, and he comes out and he goes, I am the victim of a hate crime. And then he goes, Stanley knows what I'm talking about. And Stanley goes, that's not a hate crime. And then Michael Scott goes, well, I hated it. That sums up the whole thing. It's just like, that's not it. Well, I hated it. And it's just like, that's how it is anymore. It's like, well, I didn't like that, so that's a hate crime. And it's just like, that's not how it works.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
like that library is a perfect example of people like they don't see the irony. They don't see the 1984 in their actions by removing
84.
1984
Yeah.
from the freedom to read display. It's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, I got one more for you. The Polk County, Florida Sheriff's Office received a call of a man in a public park in Winter Haven who was allegedly fully undressed. By the time the deputies arrived, they found he was fully dressed. So the deputies said he would give him a break and not arrest him if he left the park. So the man left, but then trespassed on other property. So the deputy arrested Walter Freimeyer, age 51, who has 25 prior arrests, which resulted in 5 different prison stints. Arrestees in Polk County receive a quick body scan to ensure they aren't smuggling anything into the jail. What they saw in Freimeyer's body during the body scan was shocking. Quote, "We said, dude, what are you doing here?" recounted Sheriff Grady Judd. He said, "Well, I put that inside my body." Judd explained, "That's right. He put it up the exit ramp. You know what I mean," he said. And just what did Freimeyer shove up his rectum? A full-sized thermos.
Oh, no.
We had to take him to the hospital. Talk about a job for a vocational education. Does anyone know how to use a cutting torch? Golly.
Someone bring me the acetylene and oxygen tanks. I'm going in.
They took him to the hospital, and the hospital's like, we aren't equipped for this. They had to find a specialist. They had to find a proctologist with a minor in mechanical engineering.
They had to go get one of those rigs when a calf is stuck in a cow with the chain, the come along, like literally like a medical grade come along, and just hook it onto there, get the chains out, start ratcheting.
You know you've got a problem when you go to the hospital and they have to import hospital equipment made by John Deere.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Brooks got a great idea in the back door. Rare earth magnet. Yeah. As long as the magnet is away from the body and precisely guided right at the exit, because if it's not, it's going to get attracted like to his torso and just crush his spleen through his like abdomen.
Well, it's shocking that it happens more than once a year. People who go get MRIs done with like metal butt plugs in.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in their chest cavity. So
yeah, see, there are compartments. The body is built with bulkheads of sorts. A lot of people don't know this too. Like, if you cut into a body, obviously blood comes out, but you're cutting capillaries, arteries, veins. That's why the body cavity is sealed. It's airtight. And that's why if you've ever heard of a sucking chest wound, our organs inside of us like the vacuum. They need the vacuum. So if air gets in, your lungs will stop working. Like it's too much pressure on your lungs to have air pockets in with your rest of your guts.
Yeah. Ooh. Now I'm just thinking
kind
about
of fun.
Sucking
Also
chest wounds.
terrible. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, this is a random question. I was just wondering it though. If you had to join the military,
they wouldn't.
But
take
you
me,
could pick this. You could pick the specialization that you wanted. What would you do in the military?
I would. I could see myself being an armorer. I like that kind of stuff.
Like
I like-
loading loading round, like
Oh,
tank
like
rounds?
repairing guns,
Okay.
gun maintenance, that kind of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
like working my hands. I like, mechanical stuff. Like I did
Mhm.
manufacturing for a long time. So like I like that kind of stuff. I can see myself being like an armorer. Um, Honestly, I don't know why, but every once in a while I'll just watch YouTube videos of submarines. Um, I like car compartmentalizing things
Yeah.
like in my life too, which is not always a good thing. But I like everything that has a place. So I just like looking at stuff like that, like small spaces, and going, "Oh, everything is organized, and it has to be organized." Because I just like organization. So I'm like, "Oh, you are forced to be organized because there's no room otherwise."
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah.
that's like I don't know if I could do that long term, but that seems fascinating to like spend time on a submarine to me. Like that just
Mhm.
seems fascinating to me.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right. I mean, on the submarine, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I would presume that if you're specialized in something on the submarine, your domain on the submarine may not exceed a couple square feet,
mhm,
for the whole time you're there. I mean, obviously you probably wander around and stuff, but your specialization would be a very finite area.
yeah.
Huh, that's interesting.
And so it's
I've
like it
always
just shrinks your whole world down. Like if
Yeah,
it just shrinks your whole world down into just like I only have to worry about this. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I've always thought triage. I'd probably be good in triage. Um, like blood, all that stuff doesn't scare. I always like my brain always does this thing where like bug people where they're not freaked out by bugs,
Mhm.
or a scientist isn't freaked out by whatever goo they've got to deal
Yeah.
with right then. It's because to the rest of us, we look at it kind of from a 30,000-foot view and we're like, yuck, slug slime is disgusting.
Mhm.
But the scientist goes, well, it's a composition of some pretty amazing things when you get down to it, and they get all nerdy and then you're like, yeah, you lost me. But I've always looked at it that way. Like I've always looked at injuries. It's kind of weird, but like if I've ever seen gore videos, like real stuff,
Mhm.
I analyze like I analyze the wound, the injury.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, well, cuz every once in a while on some gore site you'd see and they're still alive, and
Mhm.
everybody's amazed at the guy that's face is debrided off of his body is still alive. I'm like, "Well, yeah, none of the critical, you know,
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not staring at it going, "What? It's crazy." I'm like, "Well, yeah, obviously the critical, functions of the body are still intact."
Mhm. It's like the what was that? The true crime, the devil worshipping kid who tried to shoot himself in the face with a shotgun and it was all bird shot.
Yeah, and
And
just
so
he
it's
just caves out the front of his
yeah,
face.
and it's just like, well, everything that's required for survival is still intact.
As long as those holes into your face can bring air in,
Yeah.
all of that stuff's just sensory
Yeah.
stuff. As long as I mean, you could even, piece out part of your frontal lobe and still be functioning
Yeah, there's a
to a
dude
certain
out there
degree.
who only has half of his brain and he's living a pretty normal life.
Yeah.
He has like a big old cave in the side of his head
I
and
mean,
yet he's still fully functioning like he's not like special needs or anything. Like he's living normal IQ. Like he has some motor function issues,
yeah.
but that's it.
I mean, technically, you could take a giant melon baller and just remove everything from your jawline to your eyebrows and just unhook everything.
Mhm.
As long as those holes in your face stayed open,
Yep.
you'd stay alive. That I will say from a triage standpoint, that would be a hard one for me. It's always been a hard one when like you see like and according to my two friends, their husband and wife, they're both scrub techs, and you get quite a good education when you're a scrub tech.
Mhm.
I brought up, someone that I had seen that shot their face off like that, right? And
Yeah.
they go, "You don't realize how often that happens." I'm like, "In Boise?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like the amount of times that those types of things happen and just it doesn't make the news.
Mhm.
It's just an ambulance ride and then they disappear into ignominy. It made me sad, but it also makes me sad when I think about those types of things where like a severe aesthetic face wound.
Mm-hmm.
Or your whole face is gone and
Yeah.
you're just like, what do you, I would be like, this is wrong. I know this is wrong, but I'd be like, why are we saving him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to have a cave for a face. I'd
Or-
be very, I'd have challenges.
Or the person that's like, burned over 98% of their body.
Yeah.
It's just like, why would you want to keep going after that?
Wow. I say all that. You know what? I'm going to try to find a video while you're doing your thing that is right up this alley, and it actually, everything I just said, like why would I'd struggle to save them,
And that person will tell you why.
this person changes your mind whether you like it or not. Well, let's should we do Music Tuesday on Thursday?
Heck yeah, we should
Rock that, and then
been here for an hour. Why not? Time flies when you're talking about rectums.
Time flies when you're talking about SATs.
Rectum damn near killed him. Ba-dunts.
Do I even have a drum roll? There you go.
You did it.
All right. So, what'd you bring music-wise?
I brought a little band, kind of around, kind of not around. Anyone who's been in the emo screamo scene will know who this is. Been in some very influential bands. He's one of my favorite vocalists. He's kind of a dick in real life, but just really good vocalist. And if you've seen like this dude's neck, like he's one of those people that has like his neck. Most people's neck gets smaller, right?
Yeah.
His neck like just goes like from his jaw down to like his shoulder, like at a 45-degree angle.
It's like a real tough neck.
Like when he's belting, his neck just like flares up like one of those lizards. Like it's insane. Like something weird with his neck, but it produces like beautiful vocals for some reason. Kind of like Freddie Mercury had like a weird shaped mouth, and because of that, he was able to sing better.
Yeah, his teeth and all that.
Yeah, and so like this dude, like his neck is just on another level. But yeah, the band's called Circus Survive. I have one of their albums up behind me. This song is from their newest album, which came out a while ago, but it's called Get Out. And yes, Brooke said him, Mr. Anthony Green.
Circa Survive.
Yep.
Get Out. Here we go.
I can't get started from the part where I left off yesterday. Should have spent my time a little wiser. I sat alone, guilty of sin, waiting for words to come from out of my head, still making sense to anyone. I can't wait to understand the reason I've yet to try.
So that was Get Out by Circus Survive.
Well, thanks for introducing us to that song, Chase.
I like Circus Survive. They have that's one of their more like heavier songs. It's not that heavy of a song. They have a lot more like chill, kind of flowy. Their music's very flowy, very melodic. So if you like melodic music, I'm not gonna say that I was on nitrous one time getting my teeth done, and I would listen to that album, one of their albums. And there's sometimes like when you're kind of out of it, zoned out, some music doesn't sound as good, right? Like it kind of starts to sound tinny.
Mm-hmm.
Their music is the opposite of that. Like it kind of sounds like you get to hear more layers. Like it's very much more layers. There's things you don't notice. Like you can listen to the same song 4 times and hear something new every time.
I see.
So it's just like it's just a cool, like they're just a good band, good musicians. It's not just prepackaged. We're trying to make a hit. You know what I mean? They're trying to make good music.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was good. Yeah, I mean, definitely had that. I don't know if I. It's not a perfect lineup, but kind of that Coheed kind of
I actually saw them once
vocal.
opening for Coheed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and on that music video, they showed like a marquee sign, and underneath Circus, it literally said "Haste the Day," which is my favorite band, by the way. So yeah, I had a little fangirl moment in the back door. So I was like, "Haste the day, haste the day." What did you bring?
Also,
Oh no.
sometimes I think it's funny when I think about like because you're so calm and like you're a suffer in silence kind of guy. Like you said, you compartmentalize things and
Mm-hmm.
your whole world could be falling down around you. And I've been there for a couple times, when things are falling down around you and nobody'd know it, and they definitely wouldn't know it because of like the music you listen to because it's very opposite your personality, I would say.
It is. And ironically, when you said when everything's falling around you, one of my favorite Haste the Day songs is called "When Everything Falls."
Oh,
Just throwing it out. I'm not going to bring Haste the Day here because I know it's a kind of music that not everyone's going to appreciate. But yeah, it's weird because like I usually come across as kind of chill, relaxed. I pretend that things don't bother me, and then I call it happy hardcore though. Like
There you
the
go.
music I listen to mostly has more positive lyrics. Like it's not about like death and killing people and blood and guts and that kind of stuff. Like it's happy hardcore.
Yeah.
Happy.
It's emotive.
Yes. So what did you bring? What song did you bring for us today?
So I brought so with the advent of the internet and the ability to basically produce from your bedroom. Also, I think there's been something an outcome of social media is because we now have visibility on so many people with literally amazing talents, right? Some guitar virtuoso who's never left his bedroom now can be noticed and gain recognition. Not everybody has to be a student of Andre Segovia to become a guitar savant, you know. Because of that, I think it has done something to those who also have talent. I think that it raises the bar for many people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's similar to like runners say, well, run with someone that can run better than you. Cyclists, we used to do that all the time. We'd ride with guys that were better than us. So it pushes us. And because of that, there's this like interesting group of musicians that has started to crop up over the years that don't need record labels.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, because they're like, let's say you're an amazing vocalist, you're just crazy good. If you hit up their Spotify, it might be more covers than original songs because they're not songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
We all have kind of been Pavlovian into this. Oh, a new musician has come on board, and you hear it, and it's got unbelievable drum track, and the bass is dialed in, and the guitar is amazing, and the vocalist is stratospheric. Well, that's the byproduct of a record label. You might be a solo artist, but they'll go get studios, they'll get session musicians to play behind you. The label may even buy your songs, you know.
Mhm.
And so you might be an amazing vocalist, but this outcropping now of I would say very singular, savant-like talent has cropped up, and it's great. And it's also frustrating because you'll find somebody and you'll go and be like, I'm going to consume all of their stuff. And you get there and it's like 3 singles and a couple covers. And then the rest are like, so-and-so feat, so-and-so,
Yeah.
and it's like the featured, so they don't have big repositories because they don't have the money for it. They don't have a label cranking out 11 songs for you to binge. So I don't know that I've kind of created a story in my head around this guy. His name's Sam Tompkins, but he's on that level as far as vocalist goes. And, I love the song. I wouldn't say like the rest of his music is my vibe. But it's very now. It's very Instagram worthy. All the kids like this kind of stuff. I feel like I can say that with qualification because I'm 50. I'm 50.
Mhm.
But anyway, this is a song called Lose It All by Sam Tompkins. And I was like, man, that's a talent right there. And so I
Mhm.
thought I'd bring it. So here you go. Sam Tompkins, Lose It All.
Tell me why they say that grown men can't cry. 'Cause I'm finding it hard, I won't lie, to keep the water locked inside both my eyes. Every time I picture you raising a child, oh, I'd walk a million miles to watch you walking down the aisle. My oh my, when you look at me in my eyes, all I can see is purpose. Might look like I'm confident, but underneath the surface, I don't wanna lose it all. No, I don't wanna lose it all. Ooh, 'cause I don't wanna grow up missing a piece of my heart that you hold. Oh, it's my worst nightmare, not letting you know that if I ever lose you, I'd lose it all. Lately I've been staring at the sky, thanking the Lord that you're mine. Still sends me shivers down my spine that you're mine. When you look at me in my eyes, all I can see is purpose. Oh, might look like I'm confident, but underneath the surface, I don't wanna lose it all. No, I don't wanna lose it all. Ooh, 'cause I don't wanna grow up missing a piece of my heart that you hold. Oh, it's my worst nightmare, not letting you know that if I ever lose you, I lose it all. It all, it all, lose it all. It all, lose. I don't wanna lose it all. Don't make me have to lose it all. 'Cause I won't grow old missing a piece of my heart that you hold. Won't have those nightmares, 'cause I'll let you know that if I ever lose you, I lose it all.
Sam Tompkins.
That was pretty. He's British.
Is he?
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that his British accent comes through in his singing.
Oh. Yeah, I just really I like, and I'm not, there's a lot going on that song, like,
Mhm.
but I think it's an elegant way of using pitch shifting, but a lot of that's his own voice. Like, I'm always impressed with somebody when they have the vocal separation and when they do an arpeggio, especially when they, run notes,
Yeah.
that it sounds like dampers, like pop, 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 when they can, there's no slide between the notes. It's like a saxophone shutting and opening valves, it's just, I love that. I think that's a pretty powerful.
It's more staccato.
Yeah.
To
It's
use
almost percussive.
musical
in a way.
terms.
Yeah.
I know some musicals terms.
You do, and good job.
I took a beginners to piano class. My grandma tried to teach me piano a lot, but I only wanted the stickers because I found out she had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stickers. So I'd only show up to lessons and just be like, where? Okay, stickers, give me stickers. It was like autism. Stickers, give me stickers. I pushed keys, give me stickers. Yes, Liz, she had puffy ones too. That's what my grandma was an educator for a long time. She taught school, and then after she retired, she taught piano lessons at her house. So she was very musically inclined.
I wish I was. There's a certain je
ne sais quoi.
brain.
Oh.
Yeah, je ne sais quoi. A certain brain where I think they see color differently.
Mm-hmm.
They see beauty differently. It generates, hey, Luther's calling in. I'm gonna stop the dumb thing I was saying and bring Luther in. Hey,
you don't have to stop what you're saying. I'm just hopping in.
I'm happy you're here. Hey, also, this is different. It's 11:47 a.m. my time, Mountain Time, so it's like almost 1 year time. You're at home.
Yeah, I should have probably text you again. I texted you and Chase last week saying I was off today and tomorrow, and asking you if
that
you wanted me to
that
jump
was
in.
your failure. You didn't text him like 4 times
and asked if y'all want to do a guestnicity today as well after this because I was off, but I didn't get a response. But it's all good, man. I'm just here and
I didn't respond.
No, you didn't. Chase did. Chase was like, "Hey, give me a time."
I did, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I ADD.
But no, it's cool. I didn't set up a guestnicity, but like I say, I'm here.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm here. I was ready to bring something today.
Really?
All of that. Yeah. I'm
okay.
Yeah. So
well,
I'm good.
Well, you're right on time. Hour 13 into Neverdaily is right on time for bringing stuff. And
heck yeah,
that's great. Hey, let me ask you, how's guestnicity going? How you like? What do you think?
Oh, guestnicity's going well. It's going well.
Yeah.
Numbers are doing pretty good at the moment. We're growing. We're number like 24 in Slovenia, and in true crime. So every once in a while, we'll make the top 100 in Brazil. So
number 25 in Slovenia. That's like, you wonder what 24 is. 24 like a podcast. It's like, we bring you the top wool clothing of the week.
Right.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm always amazed, like not amazed. I'm always impressed. The comments that show up on Patreon and just the love that people have. Like, you say you're going to do a backdoor, they'll fill your backdoor.
They're going to be there. Yeah, they will fill it
like a thermos.
And 11:59, we have good listeners and everything. It's a family. So I've been busy at work covering for my boss, and what has helped out is just having listeners who have brought me cases.
Oh, cool.
Kind of saves me from having to look them up. And then like Cassie, for instance, will write the script out. So last episode, I read out her script that she wrote and everything. I was like, okay, well, that's one case for me that I don't have to really worry about, so.
I saw that comment. I saw Kat. She was like, I'm so grateful that you did this case and read my script. I was like, wow.
Yep. That saved me. time.
That's
So that was
awesome.
just one case that I didn't have to research and write up. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
it helps out, man. It helps
Good.
out.
Yeah, it's that you're well past the seeing the whites of your enemy's eyes. I always tell podcasters when they get into it, I'm like, yeah, you'll find that moment where you're like, is this worth it? And like, how you merge it with your regular daily life, the grind and everything. But you found your speed, man.
No, I'll be honest. It's days where it's like, do I still want to do this? Like, do I still want to do this? And then you'll get a comment like, hey, man, you really helped me through my day. Or, I look forward to your podcast every week. And I'm like, okay, I got to keep going. Like, I got
Yeah.
people who enjoying this, making a difference somewhere,
Yes.
So,
Well, that's great. I'm glad both of you guys are doing well, and I love watching the comments, and I'm just glad and pleased as punch you guys are still sticking around with 1159. It's a lot of
hey,
fun.
I'm pleased that you brought me in. Like I say, pleased you brought me in and have helped me out as much as you have, I wouldn't be here without you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither would I.
You make your own. You're the master of your own domain, right? Maybe that's the wrong phrase to use. Well, let's kick it off then with. You want to bring what you brung, Luther?
Oh, I can. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that'd be great.
Also, before we move into that, I know
Yeah.
we're just leaving Music Tuesday on Thursday. Have you heard like the AI remixes of rap songs that they've turned into like 1950 blues sounding?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's scary like how good it is.
Really?
Like they did one of them is like Eminem's The Way I Am, like
Really?
1950 blues sounding. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Like yeah, it's
I guess. Well, I'm
great.
thinking because depending on the song, like rap can get a little graphics, but blues would work.
Oh
It would-
yeah, and really it makes the lyrics like stand out that much more and make you feel like, oh, like okay,
Yeah.
I can really feel what he's saying here,
It storifies it a little more.
Yeah, when Granddad is saying "flip it over, stick it in," it gives a different meaning than like when you hear it in a
Right.
modern term.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. I'll tell you what I have been listening to a lot lately is I really like MF Doom.
hmm
I don't know if you've ever heard MF Doom or any of like the, he's been part of a couple different Mad Villainy,
Yeah, I've never listened to MF Doom.
What I really like about it is I like old hip hop. I like old
Mhm.
hip hop, and I like old blues. And he does this thing. He marries in like
He did this thing.
yeah, it's true. He's no longer with us.
Oh, he
Which is
passed.
super sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, he marries in like he'll bring like a clip from like a 1950s commercial and he'll be like, and that, Billy, is how it's done,
Mhm.
but he'll bring it in and like he marries like vintage stuff, and there's a lot of like that
I have to check
like,
him out.
yeah,
I like stuff like that.
record noise and
So if you like Google him, like all the first images that come up is literally him wearing the mask from Gladiator, the Russell Crowe mask,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
while he's performing.
Well, and what's crazy is I haven't even looked into this, but there's whole songs where he'll have these clips from a cartoon where Doom is a character, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, well, this stuff didn't come out in a time when like he could have been AIing this, where it almost seems like he's lifting this stuff from an actual cartoon from the past, where Doom was this character. Because man, he just plays so well, and for me, like I can play it when I do graphics or writing or anything, and just love it. Just check it out if you haven't.
No, I'll
heard
check it out.
I'm gonna have to check that out though. So it's AI.
Well, I just sent you a
you
link
did?
to one of them, so you could, you'll
Okay.
have it. So
Okay,
I'll
cool.
text it to you, so you can check it out. But yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. All right.
But yeah, you want me to jump into what I have?
Yeah, if
I've
you
had
got-
this
yeah.
for a little while.
Cool.
So, me and you have talked about possibly getting back in shape and losing weight and working out and building
Down
muscle.
22 pounds.
Oh, good shit. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. It all takes dedication. That's all it takes, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes dedication. You got it.
Stacking days.
So what if I could take that dedication out of it?
I'd pay you lots of money.
And what about, have you ever thought about steroids?
Yeah, a lot. Too much.
Right. So what's the problem with steroids, right? Steroids are traditional anabolic steroids have tons of side effects.
Mhm.
And you tend to pay a heavy price, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the androgenic side effects, acne, hair loss, body hair growth, deepening of voice, testicular atrophy, prostate enlargement, things of that nature. For females, clitoral enlargement,
really?
menstrual irregularities, facial hair, and of course that deepening of voice again, right?
Mhm.
Emotional mental impacts, increased aggression and anxiety, health risks, liver strain.
They don't call it roid rage
Yeah.
for any old reason.
Yeah.
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 And then like long-term vascular issues. So they're not the best.
And have you seen people that have been on roids for a long time? It also ages you really bad.
Oh yeah, because it's taxing on your body's just getting
Yeah.
taxed
Yeah.
when you're on that stuff. So
That square jaw, that's a pretty definitive sign that you've been on it for a while.
But yeah, it'll put 10 years on you real quick.
yeah, big muscles and then that muscle bloat in the front, and that's
That gut.
because that gut,
A barrel gut.
Yeah.
because you take so much that all of your organs start to grow too, and so you
wow,
just
I didn't think
Oh,
of that.
okay.
yeah, so you end up getting bloated like that. So steroids really aren't muscle drugs though, right? They're really masculizing drugs. They make you more masculine
Okay.
more than anything else. So it's not about building muscle. It's just giving you more testosterone and make you more masculine.
Mhm.
So that's why the women have the chains too. Well, there's a pharmaceutical company, Regeneron, I believe that's how you pronounce it. They developed a combination therapy with 2 non-androgenic anabolic drugs. I'll see if I can pronounce these. Trevogrumab. It's a myostatin inhibitor, and Garrettsolmab, whatever, activin A inhibitor, right?
Trevogrumab sounds like the guy who hosts the top 24th podcast in Slovenia. I'm Trevogrumab.
That might be his name, right? So, myostatin is what is in your body to tell your body, hey, slow down making muscle. You make it too
Yeah.
much.
You're
So-
too jacked. You're too
Right.
yoked, bro.
So you know how them dogs or those cows, those myostatin dogs, they have
Yeah.
super jack muscle, but they don't have to work out or nothing. They build muscle.
Yeah.
Basically,
How they do it.
that's what this will do. Is will turn that off and turn off your activin A and allow your body to make more muscle without
Wow.
the side effects of steroids, because it's not affecting anything else in you. It's just affecting that. So there is, they've already been doing trials on monkeys, and they're getting ready to, really, they just started trials with humans. But I'll tell you how the trials with monkeys went. So over a 20-week period, they had a control group. All they did was just put them on a diet without drugs. There's no working out, just putting them on a diet. So I'm going to use grams of fat to begin with until we get to, I'm going to do an inverse of what it would be possibly for humans, right?
Okay.
So group 1, just a diet. They lost 400 grams of fat. But of course, when you're on a diet, they lost 15 grams of muscle too.
Well, this is monkeys? We're
Monkeys.
talking monkeys.
Yeah,
They don't have
So
a lot
this
of
is-
fat to lose anyway.
right.
Wow.
So then they had group 2. They put them on semaglutide or Ozempic.
Uh-huh.
Lost 700 grams of fat. But because of that aggressive caloric deficit, they lost 100 grams of muscle on top of it.
Okay.
So then they just put them on trevogrumab by itself, not with the other one. They lost 1,300 grams of fat and minimal, about 15 grams of muscle, like the control group.
Okay.
But then they put them on all three: trevogrumab, garetosmab, and semaglutide, right?
Uh-huh.
Lost 1,400 grams of fat, gained without working out 450 grams of muscle,
Oh no.
all while dieting. That's it.
No working out.
No working out. No working out.
Jeez.
Oh no.
So, to translate that, say you're a person, 200 pounds, and about 20% body fat. If you just went on a diet like they put them on with no working out, in a 5-month period, you would lose 8 pounds and lose less than a pound of muscle. That's it.
Whoa.
So that'll put you around 192 pounds and 16.5% body fat.
Well,
but-
that'd be definitely a visual difference.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's just the regular.
That's just
Right.
with taking nothing.
That's just caloric.
That's a caloric
Limits.
deficit. Yep.
Okay.
And then let's just jump to group 4, where you're taking all three. If you took that, you would lose, in the same amount of time, 28 pounds of fat and gain 9 pounds of muscle without working out.
Oh.
You would be at 181 pounds and 6.5% body fat.
You look like a movie star right there.
That's 10% body fat you would lose without having to work out. Now, if you worked out on top of that, imagine the progress that you
Yeah.
made.
It always makes me wonder how the body, because you look at those cows, right? The big bulls that have that
Mhm.
where they just generate muscle. It always makes me wonder. I'm like, how does the body know which muscles to like grow? Like, if I'm a bus driver, I'm gonna get bigger delts because I'm always wheeling the wheel,
Right.
and your neck's gonna get big from looking like this all the time. But like, it always makes me wonder: does it do it holistically and grow all the muscles in your body, or is it the muscles that you end up using? And you're
Well, you use all your muscles just to
walking
move
up the
around.
stairs. Yeah, I
Like if
guess
you're
that's-
laying on the ground and you stand up, you use a lot of different muscles
Yeah, that's a good
just to
point.
get off the ground.
Yeah,
But
that's wild.
But this makes it where you would not have to go to the gym. You would not have to work out, and you could be healthy, and you wouldn't have any negative side effects that they're seeing so far.
Holy cow!
Sign me up.
I'm all for it.
Me too. And it's I think like with semaglutide, they're figuring out that there's some far distant potential for vision loss,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so far distant that nobody cares.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people that'll just be like, sign me up.
That's why like you see a lot of younger dudes and older dudes on steroids, because it's like the younger guys are like, oh, that's so far down the road. I'm still invincible. And the older dudes are like, I'm running out of time.
Right.
Like this is my
Yeah.
last chance.
But most older guys can get like on TRT now at the doctor and all of that. I just went to the doctor recently, and my test came back. My testosterone was lower. But the doctor looked at me and was like, yeah, but you don't have any effects that. He's like, I'm not putting you on TRT. I asked just to get it. I said, nah, man, you still building muscle and all that strength. Now you're good. So
They have a
I
new
guess.
therapy. My doctor, I do some marketing for my doctor, and so he's giving me this. He's doing this for free, but there's this new pellet hormone therapy. And women know this kind of thing because you can get birth control where they're like inserted under your armpit or wherever, and it's slow release. But this first thing I've seen where maybe there's stuff like that for men, but yeah, you go in and there's this entire lab that they run. It's like $700 to run the lab.
Mhm.
And then they formulate a pellet. Then they insert the pellet into your subdermally, and it slow releases the hormones that you need. And apparently it's like life-changing. So
I bet.
I might go do that. I might just ask him to do like a whole necklace of them right here.
It just looks like you have
maybe I'll get a
subdermal
Prince
piercings
Albert.
everywhere.
Right.
But yeah, things are moving so fast. And then I think about it. I'm like, I'm totally cool with, like, I trust my doctor, but my doctor's like, hey, I'll waive the lab fee and come in and we'll get you on this. And I'm like, okay. But if my doctor called me back in the day and was like, hey, come in to get the COVID shot, I was like, I think I'm questioning it.
Right.
It's crazy. Oh man. Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Have
Yeah.
they done human trials yet, or is
They're
that
in the middle of it right now.
okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
where was my invite?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, really.
That's what I'm
Jeez.
saying. I thought about tirzepatide, you know.
I'm
That
on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear it's good and very minimal to no side effects as long as you know, just eating decent, you know.
Yep. So tirzepatide and retatrutide are two of the newer ones. Ozempic is like the old school stuff now.
Right.
But one thing I will say about tirzepatide is the day after I feel sick. And nothing has made me sick yet, except for I do feel a little sick the day after. And then this is like only like a very, very small percentage of people. I'm one of them, but you get flu skin where your skin has that sore feeling that you get when you have the flu,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't go away.
It's like the achy, like your
Yeah.
skin aches.
And it's just bodily, the whole body, like you feel it all the time. But man, it does a really good thing, I'd say, when it comes to appetite suppression. It doesn't make me like get sick because I'm eating. Like some people, they're like, yeah, I want to barf every time I eat. It's not that for me. My brain just doesn't think about eating.
Right.
And so it leaves my day to Luther, you and I have talked about this, about, you know, whatever you're doing, if you don't have a good routine, if your routines are still unhealthy,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to just kind of founder. But so it leaves me with my daily routine to be like, okay, well, this is when I'm going to eat and this is what I'm going to be eating. So I'm not binging or like, you know, eating as an event now. which
Right.
is-
Or eating for
And
dopamine.
that's what I hear it
Yeah.
does. It takes all of that away. And if
Yeah.
you can just get yourself on a good routine and a decent diet of eating the right stuff on there, it just
Yep.
puts you on autopilot. It should be fairly, at least it sounds like it should be fairly easy. I know
Yeah.
I've heard of a few bodybuilders that's what they do is take tirzepatide because it helps keep them lean and keeps
Yep.
with the appetite suppression and everything.
My brother was kind of built like me. He was like 280 a year ago. He got on it. He just put his head down, started going to the gym. And now I'm going to the gym with him. I go like 3 times a week.
Good deal.
And I still look like I'm a before model, but a year later, he's visually stunning. And when he shows up in the gym, I'm like working out with him. We're over in this one section. We're doing some plyometrics, and this monster of a dude comes around the corner and just picks my brother out of the whole gym and is like, could you come spot me? You know, like he looks that he's that guy where it's like, I'm pushing 450 on this bar. I need somebody that won't, you know, that can help. So,
Right.
you know, like you said, if you it frustrates him too. And Luther, you might have been here before. It frustrates him because like we were at a family event and I was talking to him. One of my friends came over and like, what, isn't that a bummer when you got a brother that looks like your brother Jake? And we laughed, and then he walked away, and Jake was like, I'm so frustrated by that because I want to like wear a shirt that has my picture of me from last year on it because it was a lot of work to get here, you know?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but yeah, you know, suddenly when you look better, suddenly everybody wants to know what your secret is, and it's usually put your head down and sweat.
And that's what it
Yeah.
takes. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at getting back into personal training. I got a friend. I've talked about it on the podcast. I got a friend Joe who is down of almost 120 pounds in a little over a year, and not taking any kind of GLP-1s or anything. Just natural
Mhm.
working. And I've been giving him different workouts and stuff to do. And every day he'll send me his workout and send me videos, and I'll tell him what to tweak. And so he's kind of getting me back into it. If I can find people as motivated as him, I'm more than willing to help anybody who's actually willing to put in the work. I think that's what
Mhm.
frustrated me before when I had it, where I could tell people what to do, but they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
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 They would half-ass it and then get mad when they weren't getting the results.
Yep.
So
I've been wearing
yeah.
out like because several months ago, maybe 6 months now. I don't know how many months ago, 4 to 6 months ago, you sent me a bunch of workouts, and they're still fundamental to my routine. Like I've added a couple things here and there, um, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Especially you're so ready to help somebody change, and then that they got to do it for themselves,
Right.
right? You're there
Right.
there to help, but that can be really frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, they pay you and all that, but for me, it's not just about the money. Yeah, if I just
Yeah.
want to go in there and go through the motions with somebody, but if I can see, hey man, you got potential to be great at this, or look different, or look better, all you gotta do is just put in a little bit extra effort, and they
Mhm.
don't want to do it. It's like, come on, it just gets frustrating.
When
Yeah.
I was in high school, we got really lucky in our PE class. The golf instructor at the local golf course is like, "Hey, if you want to bring the class out here, I'll give them lessons." And so like we got to go take lessons from an actual golf pro,
Mhm.
and he was telling us about like he's had people show up and be like, "Okay, I want 4 lessons, and I want to be able to play golf and make it look like I know what I'm doing." And he's like, "Uh, okay,
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
here's the lessons," and then he's like, "I'm gonna make you a practice schedule," and they're like, "Practice schedule?" And he's like, "Yeah, like you got to come out and hit balls like a couple times a week." And they're like, "No, I'm not looking for that. I just want to look like I know what I'm doing." And he's like, "No. Like if
Yeah,
you want to look
Not
like
gonna
you know what
work.
you're doing, you have to put in the work. Like there's no shortcuts. Paying someone to teach you isn't the shortcut. They're there to like speed up the process,
right.
but you still have to do the work yourself."
To be
I
good
think
at golf for real, you have to practice
Yeah.
multiple times a week. It's hard hitting that little ball with that club.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
80
easy.
like
There's kind of a
80% of people who play golf will never even break 90,
Right.
and that's like that means you're bogeying every hole that you're playing. Like you're not,
Mhm.
which is still good, by the way. People don't get depressed if you bogey every hole. That's still actually pretty good.
I
Yeah.
think universally there's a thing. Humans, we all, our brains love certain things if we give them too much of it, sugar and carbs and all that. And our brains also, our body, we want to take shortcuts, but our the way we're constructed is universally. If you take a shortcut, it will just end up in injury,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's working out or trying to go out and swing for balls, or you're on some fast track diet or cleanse or whatever. Most of the time, we're just in. There are certain things out there where you can have rapid weight loss, but e- e- part and parcel to that is injury. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just happy to see the pounds off, but you're also suffering in the process,
Mhm.
Yeah. If you start losing weight too fast, and especially if you're not severely overweight or obese, you
Yeah.
start losing weight too fast, there's something wrong. You're not supposed to be losing more than
Mhm.
about a pound and a half to 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
Even half a pound a week is good, depending on how you're doing it. But
Yeah.
if you're losing 10 pounds a week every week or something crazy like that, yeah, you're doing something too radical, and it's not going to be sustainable at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. There were a couple weeks there where I was losing a lot of weight, and the attraction to seeing the weight loss was putting me in a place where I was dehydrated and
Mhm.
anemic and all
Mhm.
the, but I
Mhm.
was mentally, I'm like, oh, this is okay. And I'm falling into the wall, and
Right.
yeah. So it can be very, very unhealthy, like you said. Also, it's routines. I remember when I got on methylphenidate at one point. I'm not on it anymore, but I was prescribed methylphenidate to try to chill me out. And my sister told me, she said, now that kind of thing, you're going to feel great off the front. You're going to feel high, almost high. And she said, you gotta use that time. You gotta be serious about that time. For like the first 2 weeks, you're gonna feel like you could lift buildings and write poems and do all the things. But if you're not using that time to change your routines
Mhm.
and start rewiring some things in your life while that's happening, then after 2 weeks, you're just gonna be high and frustrated because the effects of those things, they have there's a declination to it. And I think that's with anything. It's like if you're not changing routines, and you're injecting something into your life or your body that's temporary or synthetic without changing the routines, it's not. I don't think it's sustainable.
Right.
Listen to us. We're all doctors.
Yeah, like we know what we're talking about.
I lose 22 pounds. Suddenly I'm like,
An expert.
But I bet
Bloody
that first
Lysander.
week you probably dropped easily 5 to 7. The first week you're gonna drop a bunch. Yeah,
It was the
and that's
biggest
normal.
loser
Yeah.
thing. It's like
Yeah.
one of the things everybody caught on after a while, but we were always amazed on the biggest loser when, the guy that's like pushing 350 loses 20 pounds in a week, and the smallest person on the show is only losing 3. And but you're right.
Yeah.
There's also a reason
It's a
why that
different
show's
thing.
not on anymore, and it
Oh,
wasn't for
yeah.
ratings reasons.
There's a documentary on
I
it
watched
now.
it. Yeah, I watched that
Woo!
one.
Dang.
That was crazy what they went through, and most of them got back fat again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got back fat. It's also interesting who wasn't on the show, who never made an appearance. So
Yeah.
kind of telling. But yeah, beauty's pain. Any way you look at it, I guess.
But it might not be with Regeneron and
Whoa.
these drugs. Yeah, soon.
We're all like, it's sustainable, guys. But when this comes out, all 3 of us are on it.
Right. I'm not working out anymore.
Never again.
But if you're a
by the-
meathead, that's gonna make you want to work out even more and just get that much more jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point, in a good workflow, a good routine, a good life balance, something like that could, I don't know. I mean, it's either going to, I instantly get this picture in my head. It's either going to make us all great and we're going to, when World War III happens, we'll all be worthy and fit to join the military, or we're going to be those people from WALL-E where it's just like we go around on a wheeled seat and we're just like a blob. You can't move.
But it would be, I'm with you, it would be that we would all be a blob, though, just jack blobs that don't know how to do anything
Yeah.
because we haven't done anything physical to get there.
And our
So-
joints are all messed up. 'cause
We're just like,
AI does our job.
yeah, we're just muscle bound people and have muscle for no reason that we don't even know how to use. Yeah.
it's like the video of one of those bodybuilders where they would stick the post-it note on his back because he literally couldn't
can't
reach it.
Couldn't reach it.
Yeah, it's because his arms and like
Yeah.
his lats and everything are all too big, and he literally can't reach about this big of a spot on his back.
That's a new thing. I'm seeing that a lot. Instagram loves to think it knows you well now, and so I watch a couple videos on rotator cuffs, and suddenly it thinks, I'm in the gym 24/7. But that's a new thing. These very strong men that lift, you can tell they lift a lot, but they're really focusing on flexibility and
Mhm.
and the ability
Yep.
for stretch. Like a lot of them they'll bring into the gym, it's a PVC type of a bar, but a really long bar, and they'll bend that thing all over their body. And so I'm glad to see that, there's this kind of trend toward being flexible and everything, which I think Brooke even said in the back door at one point. She
And
was
then
yeah.
like that's where you can, and the nice thing about those, like you can then start working on other aspects. Like you could start building more like fast twitch muscles, right?
Yep.
You can start working on your reflexes more. You can start working on your joints more and your tendons more, and instead of just mainly only focusing on your muscles and bulking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it can just open up doors for you to then focus on other things and become even better.
Right.
I heard something the other day and it stuck with me. There's this kind of inner fight all the time between people that are like running or just walking, and they both burn calories in different ways. But the answer to all of it is pick one and pick the right time to do it. Like Luther, you told me because I was like, oh, you asked me what I was doing in the gym. I said, oh, I'll go and I'll, walk a mile or two and then I do my workout. And you're like, put that at the end because your body
should be at more of a fat burning state after you
yes, exactly.
lifted.
Yeah.
But also, for me, I always ask people, what's your goal? So are you just trying to lose weight, or you want to build more cardiovascular, make your cardiovascular system stronger? Because if you're wanting a stronger cardiovascular system, then run, jog, all of that. If you're just worried about losing weight and dropping fat, just walk.
Walk.
You don't have to get your heart rate up super high like that. It just needs to come up a little bit, and you'll burn fat. It's just steps. Just steps.
And there's also ways to train your nervous system too.
Yeah.
Like you can train that.
Weight loss is not always equivalent to fat loss too. And I love what this person said. They said weight loss is one thing, but if you go into the gym and you start working out thinking weight loss, muscle weighs more than fat, so you may be disappointed. They said if you want to burn fat, if you want to lose fat, you can only do that in a caloric deficit.
That's it.
And I was like, oh, all the things, so pick your poison, walk, run,
I
whatever.
have
You
a
can't
friend.
outwork out a bad diet.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend though that literally strength trains just so he can eat more.
Well, those dudes, like the
he
more
literally
muscle,
puts on muscle so that he has a higher metabolic resting rate. So he's literally like, I put on muscle so that I can eat more food because I love to eat food.
Well, and that's the only way to gain muscle though too. So if you're trying to build, you gotta be at a caloric surplus then if you want to build muscle. And it's just the trick is finding that right surplus to where you're building more muscle and just very little fat. It's inevitable. You're going to gain a little fat, but you just don't want to get obese during your bulk phase. You want to be able to build more muscle and just a little fat,
And then you get into the whole what fats you put. Like you can build muscle, pack your body full of protein, and eat less Skittles,
Yeah.
So there's, some of those guys, like your friend, probably for everything he's lifting, he's probably eating 6 chickens a week,
Yeah.
so it's crazy. Welcome to Body by Luther. This has been a great
Speaking of, though, it's funny you say that. Joe, the guy I'm helping out, he has his own like Run Joe Run Instagram page because he started off just running and walking. And so he's been really pushing me, and he's a businessman in and of himself. So he's like, listen, man, I got the diet portion. You just do the workout portion, and we'll call it BBLs, Body by Luke. So
I love that.
you come get you a BBL. So you said Body by Luther, but that is what we're talking about doing, a BBL. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking on Instagram. Is it possible? Does he go by Joe, but his name is super not Joe?
No, his name is Joe. His actual name is Joe, but it's
okay.
Run Joe Run is his Instagram, I want to say.
Yeah, I was just looking up Run Joe Run, and I was seeing if I could find him. I found this other guy.
Joe, it should say Joe Rolling the Fourth. That's his name.
Joe Rolling the Fourth.
IV, that fourth.
IV.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Run Joe Run.
Mm-hmm.
Run Joe Run _ if you want to check him out.
And
look at that.
I'll pop up in some of them videos if you. My wife's in there. My wife went and worked out with us a couple of weeks ago, Tam. So
there you are. Yeah. Wow. His before and after, 101 pounds on his last post here. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. Oh, good job. Good. You're doing the Lord's work there. I think helping people with that kind of thing. So that's awesome. Let's see. Where are we at? What's your name, guy? The white guy?
Chase.
Chase.
McBeard face.
I was like, who? What?
You white guy. What'd you bring today?
I brought since we're in close to Halloween times, we're trying to keep this evergreen though. So this is just some creepy stories. What can you tell me about black boxes on airplanes? What do you know about them?
I can tell you one thing for sure. When several years ago when I was doing 911, I thought, you know what, I should diversify and try to get like ship's logs and black boxes and all that stuff. Super impossible to get black boxes. They are not public record. They are, I don't know if you'd call it intellectual property of the airline, but boy, is there a lot of stuff they don't ever want shared from black boxes. And that's why, every plane goes down, we're like, well, grab the black box. We'll answer this question really quick.
Right.
Yeah. Even if they find it, my opinion is it's like Epstein files.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's a data recorder, correct? So it records
Yep.
everything from altitude to speed and all the conversation that goes on between air traffic control. Like it records everything.
In and out.
Yeah.
Some of them record cabin.
Yep.
So it's a bit of a misnomer because they always say, oh, get the black box. Well, there's 2 on every plane. The other problem is they're not even black. Like they're hunter orange, so that they're easier to be found, like in a wreckage or something.
Makes sense.
They're literally bright orange. So, but they just call them, whatever reason they call them, black. Maybe they were originally black, and then they're like, we can't find these things. Let's paint them something that's like high vis.
I think it's because they don't ever want anybody to hear what's on them.
Yeah, and so there's 2 on each plane. And like Luther said, one records all of the instruments, speed, altitude, all that stuff. And then the other one is the audio. So they're separate. So that each plane has 2 black boxes on it, and they're in the back of the plane by the tail stuff in the very back. So yeah, these they record everything. Like you can't go in and like change anything on them. Like it's just like a one and done. It's solid code or whatever, however they do it. Like there's no like going in and adjusting things, changing things. Like once it's recorded, and the only way to not do anything with it is to literally like destroy it physically. Like you can't get in there and change things. So these are some just creepy black box recordings and things that happened. So first, Halloween morning, 1979. This is Western Airlines flight 2605. So. They call it the Night Owl, like it has a name. Pretty cool nickname for a plane until something bad happens, and then it's just kind of ominous sounding.
Yeah.
So they're flying, can't see this is like fog, like you put your hand in front of your face, you can't see it kind of fog. Like it's just soup. Air traffic control, they're flying into Mexico City, Mexico, and air traffic control is like, hey, you need to land on runway 23R, because the regular runway that you usually use, 23L, is under maintenance right now. They have little like trucks on it. They're like fixing some stuff on the runway. It's closed. Like there's people out there. So the pilots have to do what's called a sidestep maneuver. So they actually approach like they're going to land on the regular landing strip. And then at the last second, they kind of do a little shift. They kind of bump it a little sideways. Okay. So you're following the instruments for one runway, but then last second, you kind of just go, oh, and you go to the other one. Because of the way their antennas and stuff is set up. So the pilot goes, yep, we got it. 23R, not L. Like they confirmed it. We're going to do the sidestep 23R. Cool. For whatever reason, they forgot.
Forgot to jump runways?
They forgot to do the sidestep at the last second.
Dang.
And so they literally clip an actual dump truck with the landing gear.
Oh.
So then the plane blips, flies into a hangar. Everyone on the plane dies, and one person who was just chilling in that hangar when the plane came tearing through. And so, yeah, last second, so they have it on recording where the pilot acknowledges, like, yep, this is what I'm going to do, the sidestep. I'm going to land on this other runway. Like, he acknowledges it and then doesn't do it. He just, goes into autopilot, pardon the horrible pun in that one. All right, next one. Value Jet flight. That's already ominous.
Yeah.
Value Jet flight 592. They had a fire.
Black box is in a Chinese box, like one of the Chinese takeout boxes.
Before Spirit, there was Value Jet.
There was Value Jet. And so they're flying from Miami, and everything's fine until it's not. There's a fire in the cargo hold. Now, the fire is because someone loaded a bunch of chemical oxygen generators onto the plane. And do you know what a chemical oxygen generator is?
Creates oxygen from chemicals.
They're supposed to be on planes. That's what gives you if you ever have the little mask pop down and you're breathing out of that, that is from a chemical oxygen generator. Okay. So these things, so they had a bunch of old ones and they were shipping them because a lot of people don't know, but commercial flights, they'll ship stuff if they have extra room. That's where overnight shipping usually comes from. It literally goes on a commercial jet at the airport, and so someone had shipped these commercially through on a passenger plane, a bunch of old expired ones, and they didn't package them correctly, and so they turned on. And what happens when they turn on is they produce a shit ton of heat. And because they're producing oxygen, if they catch on fire, they just keep feeding themselves.
Oh.
So they literally, you can't put them out. You have to wait for them to burn out. a bunch of them caught fire in the hold on this plane in Florida in May.
Mm.
And so the recording picks up a bang, like there's an audible bang in the cockpit. And pilots think it's an electrical problem. Everyone's like, they're trying to scramble, figure out what's going on. Then all of a sudden you can hear people in the cabin just screaming fire, 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 like through the cockpit mics. It's melting. It's literally like, it's like melting through everything. It's like acting like thermite, and it's just burning a hole into everything that it's touching, this box of oxygen tanks. And then
And I
the
gotta
plane
believe because
crashes.
of the chemical fire,
Yeah, it's like a
you're
chemical
not
fire.
putting it out with
Nope.
traditional means, I would assume.
So the plane goes down in the Everglades, and that's how it ended.
Wow, that's crazy.
Jeez.
Now, on the subject of planes, you talked about the mass dropping down and the oxygenator or chemical oxygenator or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So every plane, when the mass drops, is set up for if every passenger is on the plane breathing from it for about 10 minutes of air. You know that?
Oh, that's
Mhm.
it.
That's it. Because if you drop below 10,000 feet, you should be able to breathe fine on the
Oh,
plane. So
okay.
the goal is, if they lose pressure high, just get below 10,000 feet.
Mhm.
As long as the plane can still fly, everybody on the plane can breathe at that point.
Mhm.
Oh, it's good to know.
There's enough, oxygen just permeating or whatever.
Or you just
All right.
can breathe until you crash. One or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're completely awake. I'd
Yep.
rather be kind of loopy. Oh,
Right.
look, the
Yeah.
ground's coming.
They say if you're ever going to be in a crash, you should try to relax as much as possible. There's scientific proof that you actually get more injured bracing for impact.
Drunk
So-
people
Yeah.
prove that every night, right?
And that's where the studies that's where people started figuring it out, was drunk people walking away from crashes like nothing happened.
Yeah. But I think it's different in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people
Speed
survive.
difference, a little
Yeah.
trajectories a bit.
Depends on how good your pilot is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So South African Airways. So we're going to South Africa now. This is called another fire, the Mystery Fire, 1987, and it's mystery because literally nobody knows what happened. So they're flying over the Indian Ocean, so they're probably going to Madagascar or Mauritius or one of the islands out there. And there's a reported fire in the cargo hold. It says they're going to Mauritius. I already wrote that down.
Oh, look at you.
So 81 seconds of audio. It's between when they're like something's wrong to it's all over. So I mean a minute and a half. And like the captain, it's kind of jarbled, but you hear the captain say, "It's the fact that both came on. It disturbs me." So like that's something you never want to hear like a captain say. Like, it disturbs me, like he's confused because
Yeah.
it's his job to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Then the recorder dies, and they think it's because it just got cooked. Like, it stopped recording. Like, whatever was recording stopped recording. Like, it was still logged in the black box, right? But the actual input was cooked. And so, like, then they also heard someone say, "We've opened the door to see if we can," and then someone yells, "Close the door." And that's the last thing that you hear.
I
You
didn't
hear
mean to
some guy go,
laugh.
"Close the bloody door."
You know why that sentence got cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, everyone's like, what was going on? Because, like, like Luther brought up pressure, like 10,000 feet. Like, they're like, they shouldn't have even been able to open the door. Like, it should have been physically
Yeah.
impossible to
Yeah.
open the door. And so they're like, what? And that's it. Nobody knows what happened. Like, the plane went down in the ocean. And,
You
like,
open a door at that kind of height, it's just boba balls flying right through
Yeah.
a boba straw. Pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
Yep.
Ooh.
Next one we're going to do, this is PSA Flight 182, midair collision. September 25th, 1978, San Diego. Beautiful San Diego.
San Diego.
Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182 is coming into land. The air traffic control tells them there's a Cessna. For everyone who doesn't know, that's a little tiny plane. A Cessna, it's like a flying lawnmower. Like, let's put it that way. That's what it is. Prop plane.
Yep.
And the flight crew, the captain and co-captain are like, "Yep, we see it." And then they lose sight of it. And they are just like, "Oh, maybe it's past. Like, they warned us. We were past it." Then the recording's just the pilots, going through their normal landing procedures with each other. They're relaxed. They're just talking, doing their thing. And then the first officer goes, "Are we clear of that Cessna?" Like, he's like
Oh, you
questioning,
hear
like,
it?
"Are
Oh,
we?"
no.
And someone else goes, "We're supposed to be." And the captain says, "I guess." 11 seconds later, the first officer goes, "There's one underneath," and that's it.
Oh, no.
And then someone screams.
Oh, jeez.
144 people were gone. Because it
Crazy.
God.
just bam, bam, done. I'll do another one because we're getting long in the tooth here. One more. This one is kind of weird. Japan Airlines Flight 123. 32 minutes of fighting is what this one's called. August 12th, 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123 is 12 minutes out of Tokyo when the rear pressure bulkhead fails. Basically, the back of the plane blows out. Takes the vertical stabilizer, the tail fin, out with it. Severs all 4 hydraulic lines, which means like main hydraulic lines, which means the pilots can't steer anymore. Like all their flaps are dead.
Mhm.
They're able to keep flying for 32 more minutes without controls
Whoa.
because they are literally using the engines to steer.
Oh.
So they're literally controlling the speed of the engine.
Whoa.
So to turn right, they're slowing one down and speeding the other one up, and like they're
That's
literally using their engines to steer. They last for 32 minutes. There's alarms, like the recording is just alarms, just continually blaring. The pilots are super chill and calm. They're not panicked, even with all these alarms blaring off. They're focused, but they are eventually they run out of room. They run out of everything, and they crashed into a mountain. Like they almost pulled it off. They were literally flying only on engines without anything else, which is like any pilot would tell you that's insane that they were even able to do that for as long as they did. Like they didn't give up until literally the very end, and they just didn't make it. So
Bit of a fun fact. Some people might not know, but like I was getting the mail. I think about this every time I see a plane. I don't know why. Look up and there was a plane crossing the sky. Two engines on it.
mhm.
The engines on a plane are strong enough that if one engine dies, that one engine is still strong enough to fly the plane.
Mhm.
I didn't, it's always kind of a comforting thought, I guess.
Yeah. If you want to know more about planes and how they work, and you want an interesting YouTube channel, 7-4 Gear. I watched a lot of him. He's a 747 pilot, still active right now, and he watches videos of landings and explains what's going on. Conversations between air traffic control and pilots. Some of them are funny, some of them are like serious. Some,
Mhm.
So it's a good channel if you're just. I've always been fascinated with planes and stuff and flying every day.
I have a cousin who was a pilot in the Air Force, and he flew the big boys. He flew a B-2 bomber, in Iraq, and then when he left the military, he flew FedEx's largest shipping plane for a couple of years. But then he became a flight instructor. Was in Texas at that big huge flight school in Texas for the Air Force. He was there for a long time. Did flight instruction in Germany. So it's cool talking to him about airplanes. Because he's flown the big monster boys around his whole career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a cousin
cool.
that's a pilot for American also. Yeah.
It's just fascinating.
Mhm.
Planes are fascinating. I got that tism.
Yeah, and Dallas Love Field was like basically almost right in the middle of a neighborhood, Love Field Airport. My parents would take me over there because my grandparents lived close as a child, and I used to just love watching planes take off and land. So I've always had a fascination with them. Just big ass metal cylinders flying is crazy.
It's amazing.
Screaming through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Sam he still wants to get his finalize getting his pilot's license and everything. He used to watch there's a TV show called The Aviators, and it's multiple seasons long. It's really quite engaging. He really liked that one.
If anyone's interested, you can go fly a plane in Vegas without a pilot's license. You get to go into a 2-person stunt plane with a legit, a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get you up there, they'll turn full controls over to you. And they'll try to goad you into doing barrel rolls and flips and all that kind of stuff. Because if anything starts happening, they can take control immediately. But they'll actually give you full control of the plane and just let you kind of rip around, do what you want. It's very expensive, but I've always wanted to do that. That'd be so fun.
I just thought that would be we should come up with a list called interesting ways to commit suicide. And then it's stuff like that. It's like go to Vegas. You can fly a plane. Just disobey.
Yeah,
Or-
they just flip the switch on you though, and
Yeah. You go to that place in Tennessee where you can drive an actual tank.
yeah.
Just take a left. 7-4 gear. Okay, I sent that to my sister Katie because her boy he's all into flight sims and he's all geared up. So that's a good one. Okay, I'll share what I brought. It's kind of cool. And then I found the video. Remember where I said in triage I'd struggle to be like, guy doesn't have his face anymore. Why are we saving him?
Mhm.
This will change your mind. But anyway, I'll start with this. First, I want to say a joke. There's on our Discord channel, Marissa posted yesterday, Monday morning, y'all. Well, this was Monday. You know how they throw the ball into the crowd after they win the game?
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
That's not allowed in bowling. I know that now. I like jokes when they catch you off guard like that. That's a good one. Thanks, Marissa. Okay, check this out. So, starting off this story with Edgar Allan Poe. So, obviously best known for grotesque, uncanny, his stories.
Mhm.
One of them, and he's at the center of this, one of history's most bizarre coincidences. And when I say bizarre, it's like you can't. I want to say you couldn't write this, but he did. So in 1838, lock that date in, it's important. Poe publishes his only full-length novel that he ever wrote, called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. Kind of a long title. Maybe that's why he didn't write a lot of long-form novels. Now, at the time, Poe dismissed it himself as very silly, but the events he imagines would later echo really loudly through history in a way that even Poe's darkest tales couldn't write. So in Poe's novel, the ship Grampus becomes a floating death trap. So its crew, they're battered by storms, have tons of misfortune. They find themselves adrift in the Atlantic, and they're stranded. They're totally desperate, and they rapidly run out of both food and hope. And so they catch a tortoise to eat, but it only kind of staves off starvation for so long.
Mhm.
So as the days pass and rescue seems really like a distant dream, the men see no other option. So they draw straws to decide who among them must pay the ultimate price by being sacrificed for the survival of the rest. So the grim winner is a young sailor named Richard Parker. In a particularly grim turn, Parker, who'd earlier participated in a mutiny, is stabbed to death, and then his head and his hands and feet were thrown overboard. So here's where things start to get really weird, because Poe's tale wasn't just a one-off piece of fiction. 46 years after this silly novel was published, a real-life tragedy played out almost identically, with a detail so specific it borders on supernatural. So in the year 1884, there was a yacht called the Mignonette, and it was woefully ill-equipped for long sea travel, but it leaves England headed for Sydney, Australia, which is a piece. That's a trip. 4-man crew, Captain Dudley, First Mate Stevens, Sailor Brooks, and a cabin boy by the name of Richard Parker. So like the Grampus, the Mignonette is doomed. It sinks during a violent storm in the South Atlantic. The survivors, yes, 4 men, escape into a lifeboat. Supplies are laughably meager.
Mhm.
Once again, a turtle is caught and eaten, but the familiar darkness starts to creep in. Starvation and dehydration and this desperate need for salvation. So eventually, just as Poe's fictional crew did, the men in this lifeboat, they choose to sacrifice one of their own. The victim? Poor Richard Parker, the 17-year-old cabin boy. So both stories, real and fictional, they involve doomed vessels, a tortoise or a turtle being caught and consumed, a crew reduction to cannibalism, and in each the sacrificed member bears the name Richard Parker. But the coincidences deepen. In both the Grampus and the Mignonette, the victim is not just sacrificed, but also the youngest and most vulnerable member of the crew. The remaining survivors are pushed to the edge of morality. They're forced by circumstances beyond control to perform this terrible act that will haunt them forever. And the event itself becomes a moment that's not just tragedy, but of kind of legal and ethical significance. So in the real Richard Parker case, the surviving crew, they're all put on trial in England for murder. So it kind of sparked this international debate about the rights and wrongs of survival cannibalism. The R versus Dudley and Stevens court case, it set precedents for legal systems throughout the whole world. And it marked kind of this difference between the necessity of survival and murder. And there's even more depth layers within this. Richard Parker seems almost cursed to show up in the maritime disaster stories. In 1846, the Francis Spate sank. Among its victims was a Richard Parker. In 1864, the ship Richard Parker itself sank off the coast of Cape Horn. Eventually, so later literature in a book many of us might have read. I love this book. It's awesome, by Jan Martel, called The Life of Pi. The tiger who shares the lifeboat with the protagonist is named Richard Parker, a deliberate nod to Poe and the Mignonette. But when you line up all those coincidences, it's way, way beyond statistical that there would be that many, coincidences between the story and real life. It's just crazy. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
I like random coincidences.
Makes
Yeah.
you think. Makes you wonder, is it really a coincidence?
yeah,
Or is it
are
just
we
code
living-
repeating?
Yep,
Could be repeating code.
could
Yep.
be. You
Could
never
be
know. There's more and more. I'll
be
do a
lots of
thing on this sometime. But have you guys heard of the dead internet theory?
Yeah.
I have not, but
It's kind of crazy. I'll do a kind of a deep dive on it, but consider this. So AI is educated off of all of our written knowledge, right? That's all it has to go on, is everything that we've ever put on the internet.
right.
Starting, I don't know, like 4 years ago, AI got to the point where us as consumers, we started using AI to write for us and to do all these things for us. So you could technically say that the 3 or 4 years ago, there was a bulk of content on the internet that was written by AI.
Well, even
And-
before that, they say with the chat with the bots,
Yeah, the bots.
the
that
pre-programmed
We've been
bots.
arguing with bots for way too
Yeah.
long that humans are kind of been
But
out
it's
of
just
it.
it's just ramping up at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So consider if AI has to be continuously educated off humans' written submission, at some point in the future, we're going to be training AI on content from the internet that AI wrote. And before you know it, it's just this like weird,
big
creepy
circle.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if AI figures that out, it's like, oh, well, over the course of a period of time, I could really use this to my advantage. It's like, when we're in high school and the guy that wrote the history book is the one that guides the narrative. He's like, so if AI is like, I'm going to play the long game over the next 10 years and make these
Start
people
making
really
subtle changes into
Yep.
its own code that it can
Yeah.
get around the walls and get around the fences and
Yep. We've already seen it in a really wild way. Somebody did an analysis of dead words.
Mhm.
And they said that in the last 3 years, there's been a massive reduction in certain words in our vocabulary, written words on the internet. And they attribute it to actually AI, where AI is just not using those words anymore. And so they're
Mhm.
slowly getting phased out of our language. And they're not, it's nothing pivotal, but
Yeah. But in the long term, they're basically saying, like with the dead internet theory, what's going to happen is that the majority of things online are just going to be written by computers.
Yeah.
Like full conversations on Facebook are going to be AIs pretending to be humans that are like online fighting with each other.
Yep.
And so like eventually they're saying that the dead internet theory, eventually the internet's going to die because people won't use it anymore. It'll literally just be bots.
It's crazy. We'll all instead of podcasts, we'll all have like beat casts where it's like, show up, we're beet farming today. Everybody get together. We'll tell some stories.
Right.
You know, it's going to be all organic. All right. Well, to end this punched me straight in the gut. And it goes totally against my view of the whole who's worth saving and who's not. The ending will get you on this one, I
You're
promise.
going to make me cry.
It might. It made me cry.
It's easy to do.
But, all right, get ready. Here we go.
Do you believe life has a purpose? And if so, what is the purpose of your life?
I don't know. I know everything should happen for a reason, and I think that every once in a while when I meet someone and they say that, like, I've helped them, sometimes it's hard to think, like, how have I helped you? But after 16 years of meeting so many people saying you're an amazing person and stuff like that, maybe I've started to believe them, and maybe I do something right. If this is the payment of helping other people, then bring it on.
That ending. Like I expected like the tears came on his face. So just so you know, this is a kid named John, and he has epidermolysis bullosa, and you can tell like his hand when he goes to wipe his eyes, his hand is fused together, and he's got wounds that just continue to appear. And they asked him, that question about the purpose of life, or is it worth living, or whatever, and I see those tears start, and then I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna, it's too much, right? Maybe it's too much for him. And this question came out of nowhere. It's like that little kindergartner that the news anchor says, do you miss your mom after kindergarten? And he's like,
No.
yeah, and can't keep it in. And I'm expecting that. And then he pulls that bring it on, and it just gets me, Anyway, bring it on, people.
Bring it
on. Luther, thanks for being here. Here.
Thanks for having me.
If you're without work in a day, let us know. Especially like, you know what? Even if you're not here, if you wanted to throw something at Music Tuesday on a Thursday, I'll play it as proxy for you if you ever want to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I got a few things.
That'd be fun. Cool. Yep. I've said it before, I'd love Neverdaily to be kind of a place where any of the creators at 1159 could show up and use and abuse the program. So you're always more than welcome to hijack it, even on your own if you want, you and Kevin or anybody. So anyway, that's what we got. 2 hours, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 18. We'll call it 2:20.
That'll work.
Soup, everybody.
All right.
No, I want to hear
Luther
what
was saying something.
Say.
What were you going to say, Luther?
Was I about to say something?
I think so.
I was just saying bye. Really, in my mind, what I was going to say is when you leave, the way I joined this time, I think I'll just fall off. I don't think I'm going to be backdoor with you. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It might just cancel you out.
It may just block me out, pull me all the way out. But with that being said, if y'all do have time, I didn't record a guestnicity, but if y'all want to do a bonus episode for me, we can do that too. If you have time today, just let me know at any point.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got. Soup, everybody.
Soup.
Bye.